Good day to all. There's absolutely no point in me asking if anyone's okay because nobody is. This has got a bit of a shite storm that we're calling life, isn't it, really? So, what can we do but just smile and get on with it? Have a little moan as we do. I might have a moan, I'm kind of partial to that. Everybody knows that. But here I am trying to delight you with my eyes, ears, and presence and give you a bit of light relief in this 40-minute episode of Digbeth Dining Club. So yeah, I've got Jack Brabant on board. It's a bit of a mouthful. To I wanted to sit here about his story really and how they got started. I'm a big fan of Digbeth. I don't think I've mentioned that at all to anyone before. Um, and it's huge now. How did it start? I remember when it was a couple of people, then it went to a couple of hundred people. Now it's a good few thousand at least most weeks under normal circumstances. And it's on the map for the UK, let alone Birmingham and just Digbeth. And it's just grown and grown and grown over the last 8, 9, 10 years. Great food, great night out, just great overall. So yeah, I wanted to kind of get to know them and their story, and hopefully just bag a couple of free meals as well when we are back to normal. So hopefully I'll be on the kind of the VIP list as well. If you listen to this, Jack, that'd be fantastic. Thank you. So hopefully you'll listen to this and you'll enjoy it as well. And let me know your thoughts, your favourite foods, and give us a follow. Obviously, it's fantastic for some people that I'm back with a new episode. It might not be for some others. Nobody wants to be hearing my dulcet tones every week, but here we are. So welcome to the Calicast and enjoy yourself. Pleasure. Well, I've got a Villa fan in the house. He's doing some of my favourite food, so I'm absolutely buzzing for this conversation, basically.
Okay, no worries. that's good. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, how have you been getting on? I mean, silly question, I know. It's Jack. We'll try and avoid coronavirus, the word itself, as much as we can in this conversation, because I cannot be bothered to talk about it as much as you.
Oh, well. I think the reality is it's had it's had a massive impact for everyone. I think it's changed, the life as we know it for the foreseeable. That's for sure. I think personally, the thing is that I think anyone who believes that we're going to go straight back to normal, I think you're mad now. So just rolling with the punches as we are. We try and roll with the punches as much as we can. Try and make best as we can do, and go from there. Really, I mean, that's what you can do. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs. We're hoping that we can come out of it. I mean, I've been talking to various friends across different industries, and it's affected us. But fingers crossed that 2021, certainly in the second half of it, I think will be a good one for everyone, and we can all get back to just hanging out. I just want to go to the pub. Genuinely, I just want to go. I want to go and sit in the pub and have a pint with my mate. My mates. I don't want one mate. My mates, yeah.
I want that, a pub before a Villa game. That's all I want. Just
No. I'm a season ticket holder. I want to get back there as soon as possible. I even emailed them and said, because obviously we did before lockdown, we were operating with Villa and doing like a little fan zone, which was a great privilege. First of all, we just want to say that we are a mixed bag of football fans. I mean, we've got my business partner as a Wolves fan. We've got Blues fans, but obviously being part of Villa, there's me, myself, and my brother who works for DDC as well. It's great. But I thought I'd send a cheeky email. Is there any way you can sneak me in so I can see in the old tents? But I firm no.
I know, honestly, yeah, it's just seeing empty grounds killing me a little bit, to be fair. But hopefully we'll be back there soon enough. I was gutted, Jack, to be fair, because I think it must have been about June, July, when I can't even remember when they allowed us to be normal for a little bit when we went back to the pubs. I can't even remember what month that was. But I was Googling Digbeth Dining Club and I was hoping to God you'd be open, and obviously I was a bit gutted when you couldn't be. When did you have to close then? Was it kind of straight away?
Well, I mean, the shame is we closed our Digbeth, the Digbeth site back in last March. So it's been 10 months now. And the reality is, it's just with the social distancing restrictions and everything like that, it's just the site's been built and been busy. You know, we were getting thousands through the door each weekend, which is fantastic. You know, we're doing really well. But you know, with social distancing, it's not possible. You know, and you know, for people's safety as much as anything. So you know, one of the things that we're very good at is turning on a sixpence, and so you know, from there we've created Click and Collect. We've got another venue that we were building for some new projects down in Hockley, and we converted that ready for Click and Collect, which we are doing right now. And obviously during the summer we partnered with some of our bigger sites like Warwick Castle and Coventry Cathedral and Longbridge to get through. And it's been, you know, it's not been a bad year in that sense, because we've been able to experiment with some new ideas because we've had to invest in a lot of seating, which is never fun at the moment when you're not earning as much as you were. But it's been a different approach, and it's given us some ideas to what we want to do going down the line. So it's, you know, it's been a chance to explore some new avenues.
And do you think some of those options that you've had to kind of take on, you think you'll keep some of, you know, a number of them when things do go back to normal?
Yeah, without doubt. I think, you know, people, you know, we're looking at different ideas. You know, I think the fact is that you know, it's you know, certainly seating has become a big part of everything. I think going down the line, COVID secure events. I mean, you know, before we even started doing Click and Collect, we was working with like Public Health Birmingham, speaking to the Department of Health. You know, we've tried to do everything we can to make sure that we're providing really safe events. And I think the key thing is, even again, once the vaccinations it's getting people's trust back in that where they're going is going to be safe. I mean, and that's what we're going to try and do. You know, we're really adamant about that. You know, we take a real tough line on, you know, how we operate, and going to certainly incorporate that for as long as we need to, and want to make sure that everyone feels really comfortable when it comes to anything that we do.
Yeah, and it's like you say, it is such a huge shame, because there's nothing better than finishing work on a Friday and just saying to my missus or friends, fancy popping down to DDC, having a couple of beers and a burger, and it's a night out without it being a night out, I think, isn't it? It's nice and casual.
Well, that's the whole idea. I mean, you know, I'm approaching 40 now, but like when we first started, I was, you know, in my 30s. But I want, you know, we're all old party heads who've been involved. You know, like, I feel like a party now and then, but we're not allowed to. But you know, it was, you know, it was for something where, you know, like we want to see people bring the kids down. You know, you finishing after work. You know, you can bring them. Like, you know, for example, my brother is, I've got an autistic brother, and he, you know, we with his carers, he comes down, and you know, we actually have family outings at DDC. So he is one of the places that he felt safe, and that plays a big part in the way where my thinking is that it's got to be accessible for everyone. Now, that's always been sort of the key part of what we do.
Yeah, and for me, being kind of like I'm probably the biggest fan of Digbeth and Birmingham, but then just seeing like a massive fan of DDC, just seeing it grow for me, it's been insane, because I remember when he was just one, obviously Lower Trinity seat, and it was just kind of like a couple of traders, and now it's gone, and because it's been running getting on 8-9 years now.
It was our 8th birthday last year, so obviously we haven't had a party for it last year. Hopefully we'll have a 9-year party this year. But yeah, it's literally like, you know, it was born out of a drunken idea, if I'm being brutally honest. I mean, I've been in I used to run a video production company and be a freelance cameraman, and I got involved with my best mate who works within the industry as well, and he works within the trade association side. So we'd started filming street food back at its origins in London, around the country, and we'd travel around, and it was all born out of that, really, and it was sort of like a little side project. And joined forces with James, who's my business partner, who is one of the owners of Spotlight and the various venues, and we sort of just it snowballed from there, really. And it's got bigger, and we've got bigger. But there's still the family element to it, you know. Like that's the most important. Like, you know, I'm still working on the floor with all my staff and everything like that, and I love it. You know, it's still love and breathe it all every day. And we've got a lot of, you know, the traders that we've worked with for years still around, you know, but a lot of them have gone to open restaurants. But we've still got traders that have been with us, from almost day one.
Yeah.
And there's that sort of camaraderie and family sort of environment, which, it's from a working environment, it's really nice.
I love the fact most genius ideas come from drunken ideas, don't they? From a drunken.
Well, it was. I mean, God, it was. There was various ideas. I mean, the original one was we approached the council about trying to put it on top of the red cage just for a mailbox originally, which, funnily enough, didn't happen. But we found a great partner in Spotlight back in the original day, and we've all grown together really, which has been a fantastic experience for the last almost decade.
Did it take quite long to your idea to come to fruition then, and then obviously pick your place in Digbeth? Was it always going to be Digbeth, or were you looking at certain places in Brum?
Honestly, I think we were looking at places, but part of the charm of street food is it's got that sort of rough around the edges, alternative vibe. Especially in the early days, and I think we're going to see a lot of that again. Some fantastic chefs were involved in the early days, and you saw. And I think you're seeing that now, especially with people losing their jobs and not necessarily being able to get into restaurants. So street food is a viable option because you can start up relatively cheaply. And social media is a fantastic tool for getting out there. You don't have to worry about posters and everything like that. But Digbeth really was the choice because we wanted that warehousey sort of vibe, rough around the edges sort of thing. And funny enough, people laughed at us when we said we were trying to really start a little food. Well, we like to call it a food revolution. I mean, funny enough, we were looking back at some of our promo from over the years, and I'm not going to say it was cringy, but it was some of it was laughable. We really believed in what we were doing, and we've honed it. We've got a bit more of a professional approach now. I'm not allowed to touch social media so much anymore, which is probably not a bad thing because it's usually I'll put out a drunken message or something like that. But it's one of those. But Digbeth was a great spot, and we've really tried to, wherever we go now, we try and offer different products. Like we work with heritage sites, we work with Villa, we work with everything. We can. The great thing is now we come up with ideas, and we've got the demographic, we've got we've got the following to implement these, and see it come to light. So it's quite exciting when we put an idea together. Luckily, people seem to believe in what we do, so it's certainly fun aspects, and hopefully we'll make that continue because we'll keep on trying to come up with some creative ideas.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting what you say. I mean, so when you first kind of started with your idea, how much? I'm guessing you had more pushback than you did people or groups.
It was convincing people to come to Digbeth. I mean, let's not forget there was this stigma about Digbeth back in the day, and I think it's not a problem attracting the younger generations, but attracting people from all backgrounds, which is what we wanted to do. So, one of the things we were trying to do is try and do this subliminal messaging, and like use your smell to find the smell. Like you walk up and just look out for the carpet sign, and you'll find this array of fantastic food, all this sort of stuff. And it's. I think it was when we won after a year. We won best street food event after a year, and that really helped to sort of catapult us into sort of the mindset of people in the Midlands, and it grew from there year on year completely. And we take a lot of pride in promoting the city and the Midlands really now. I think it's mainly about the Midlands. I think I've said it in several interviews in the past. I think we've shaken off that tag of shitness, basically. I think people, not that we think it's ever been shit, but people have treated like especially Birmingham. Oh, it's a bit of a joke. Well, fuck you now. As far as I'm concerned, it's like I prefer this city to a lot of cities. I lived in Manchester for a long time, and I loved it there, but I wouldn't go back. I know that's not me just saying that, trying to get some Brummie pride, but let's be honest, it's we're better.
What made you come back then from Manchester? Was it to start this?
No, we were to start my little video production company and splitting it from a relationship and wanting a new start. So it's been, felt like a good time. My family was here and needed a bit of maternal love really after a long relationship, really. So, but I think I've had the last laugh. So there we go.
Yeah.
And I'm married, so
You've done all right in the end, I'm guessing. Yeah.
let's hope so.
I was in Manchester about 2-3 months ago, and we went to. I'm guessing you went to that Mackie Mayor, or Mackie Mayor, is it?
Yeah, I mean, there's some really fantastic stuff happening up there. I mean, like, Grub have been leading the charge for a number of years, and they're a lovely group of people. We've got a lot of traders from there actually, and we attract some traders from all around the country. In Manchester, we get a lot. So some fantastic food up there. Mackie Mayor is a great place to go. I think there's the depot, this skate fair which just started. So I haven't been to that one yet, but I know there's a lot of good stuff going up there.
Yeah, I mean,
still better here.
I was there and I was looking around. I was like, this is good, but it's like it's not a Digbeth, is it? It's not a Digbeth Dining Club. I mean, it was good. I mean, the venue's massive, but it's just because I think I primarily known Digbeth. You're always going to compare it, aren't you? So to me, and I've seen kind of Digbeth Dining Club grow. So almost growing up with like my teenage years and kind of going into my 20s and 30s. It's like it's great. I've seen it go from what it was to what it is now. And then can you see it going bigger than it is? Because at the minute, it's a bully.
I mean, look. I mean, let's be honest. I think like everyone, we've had to hit the reset button to a degree, but hopefully down the line, we've got some exciting plans. And we really believe that we can get bigger. As I said originally, it's the fact that COVID, despite being absolutely devastating for every business, bar Amazon, let's say.
Like
they've done all right. It's had a chance for us to really take the foot off the pedal, because we've just been going 100 miles per hour for 8 years, and we've hardly slept. My wife's happy because I've got time to spend with her, and it's my anniversary today. So, we got married twice. We got married twice because we got married here. This is our English wedding, and we got married in Kenya. So she's from Kenya. So it's that's our one over there. The wedding from the last one is the one we celebrate. But we've got time to spend together, which is great.
Well, happy anniversary, and I'm honoured to be sharing it with you. To tell you what, the same. Yeah, I should say Dave from Dudley says hello. So, but I was just wanted to touch on a point that you mentioned earlier. I mean, obviously, street food generally, I think, is grown across the country over the last 5 to 10 years. But where do you see the Birmingham scene? Do you look at it and think, fuck it, we're better than all of them? Or do you see it as you're competing with other regions?
No. The whole thing is, the great thing about
Are you a united front?
We've worked in partnership with a number of different event companies from around the country. There's always been a camaraderie in street food. Fundamentally, you're seeing a lot of big businesses trying to break into it. You're seeing Schwartz do their street food range of things, and we all just laugh at that, to be honest, because it's like it's they don't get it. Personally, I just think it's a bit of a piss take, to be honest. I mean, but it's a buzzword, and and it's what happens when things get popular. But Birmingham, we've been very lucky over the last few years. We've got some fantastic food in this region, and it's testament to the fact that I think out of the last 8 years, 5 of the burger traders that we work with, or 4, I can't remember, they've won best burger in the UK. And you've got Original Patty Men, you've got Flying Cows, Patty Freaks. I mean, these guys are doing some fantastic food. That's just the burger front, but you've got Buddha Belly. I mean, I've been eating Buddha Belly for 7 years and or longer maybe, and it's still one of my favourites.
Yeah,
but there is so much good food in this region, and people look up to that in the street food industry. They look up to a lot of our traders, which is testament to a fantastic scene in this area.
When you kind of obviously get going with the idea, then how did you start sourcing the traders? Because obviously, I'm guessing, was that a challenge in itself, or did they come to you?
In the early days, it was a lot of visits round. Met people over time, and we put applications out, and people would apply. Nowadays, we get inundated, so we have to go through a bit of a process. And what we try and do is we try and keep. Again, it goes back to that family thing. Like when you join DDC as a trader, not exclusively tied to us, but we give out so much work across the Midlands that, you know, like we try and make sure that we've got we want to give as much work to those people. We've got, you know, to join us basically, you know, like you've got to do amazing food, you've got to be, you know, you've got to have a great looking, you know, stand or like presence as well. And also just don't, you know, we just don't want any dickheads really. We want people that are nice, you know, we're not bothered about you know, working with people that, you know, make our lives difficult. It's, you know, your work should be fun, and this is fun. You know, we enjoy it. It's a lot of graft. It's a lot of work. But with nowadays, I mean, like, you know, we're always looking at something new that people might get excited about. You know, we've got some exciting little options coming in as we speak, and it's trying to, you know, it's trying not to replicate what we have on the books. There is obviously always a little bit of replication because we've got so much going on, and people have got the popular. So we've got several burger traders, for example. But it's just always trying to find something a little bit different that we haven't already got, and that's what we're always looking for. I think it's a great industry to work in. It's a lot of work, and I think people don't realise that. They see the good times and go like, "Oh yeah, this looks really easy," but you know, you don't see, you know, like if you turn out to DDC on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and you see a trader says nil, they go, "Oh God, they're doing really well." You know, like they're selling so much, but they haven't seen the hours of prep, 3 days of prep going into that. They haven't seen, you know, like the late nights, you know, the broken down trucks. You know, it's a little bit of showmanship, and that's what we're looking for as well, as much as anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's okay. No, it's just really interesting because like people turn up, eat, and leave, and they probably don't see like exactly what you've just said. They don't see the hard work that goes behind. I think it's the hospitality industry in general, but especially the street food setup that you've got. They just think you turn up, have a lap, have a burger, and go. But there's a lot to it, isn't there? A lot of behind the scenes graft, and like you say, I'm guessing you've sacrificed a lot of sleep, and a lot of weekends to get things right. And are you quite surprised yourself with how kind of successful it's been, or how successful it's kind of grown over the last 8 years?
I think initially, yes, yeah, completely. I think, you know, you'd be daft. I mean, honestly, when we set this up, I didn't have a clue what we were doing. it was just like, we really like this.
Jack, you know what? That is kind of music to my ears, because like I said, I've set up this podcast, and I'm like, well, see how we get on, and then, you know what I mean. Then just keep going. Then just see. It literally just seeing what happens, isn't it? It's all you've got to do. And
you know, not many people have a clue what they're doing. I mean, like, for the best will in the world, you know, we all fake it to make it sort of stuff, don't we? And it's like, you know, but you know, learned a lot over the last 8 years, and you know, we take a lot of time, and I still work, you know, 7 days a week, really, trying to, you know, think of new ways to make it relevant, make it exciting. You know, I think, let's be honest, like, you know, I was, you know, 30 years old when we started it. We want to bring on young, you know, we're going to be looking to bring on younger people this year, because I want to see what have I got in relevance to a 20-year-old, really, when I'm almost 40 and pretty much settled down. It's like, you've got to learn, and you've got to take on other people's experiences and expertise, rather. And, you know, that's what we try to do. You know, we're not ashamed to ask for support and help, and we've had some fantastic people over the years. And the big thing as well is, you know, we've developed it from just being food focused. We're really culturally focused as well. We know it's you know, the big shame is we haven't been able to showcase a lot of all the massive array of musicians and artists and DJs that we've got. We've got some of the best in the Midlands that work with us, and we haven't been able to put that on, and that's the biggest frustration. That's what the really big part that we want to bring back now. Yeah. And we've got some really creative ideas for, you know, to play on that side, and so that'll be something to look forward to.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you couldn't imagine Digbeth without it there, really, could you? All the Birmingham, but like you say, you're bigger than Digbeth, and you're bigger than Birmingham. You've got your rewards, and I knew enough about you, but when I was reading up on you, and I was like, you've won the Street Food Award. I think your first or second year, wasn't it? A year in.
First year. So we won it first year, and then we won it again. And then
you're just like, yeah, we've done our job now. Let's just see the punters roll in.
But I think that's the mistake a lot of people make. Though.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you're not you've got to look at improving things. And one of the things that James and I do, like when we meet, we're speaking every day. We're meeting, twice a week, looking at ways we can improve things, looking at ways that we can make this experience better. As I said, it's not just about the food. I mean, we can get, we're always looking at improving our food offerings. We're always improving our entertainment, and it's one of the reasons why why we charge £1. It's like £1. You're getting, if you're in Digbeth, you're getting 4 venues of different entertainment plus loads of food. I mean, so you're sometimes getting gigs. We had one of our resident band, which is run by Call Me Unique, which is she's one of my favourite people that we work with on the music side. And that when you're in there and you stood watching that, and it's part of the bigger thing with the food going on, people having a good time, and then you've got these fantastic bands playing on stage, and you go into another room, people having a little dance with DJ, you've got a reggae room and all that. It's just it's still quite exciting to see that people just having a good time and just walk around just like a little bit mesmerised.
Yeah,
you get a bit bogged down in it sometimes when you're there all the time, but when you see people who were there for the first time and see it through fresh eyes, you realise actually, that's a really nice feeling to see people having a good time. And we want to, we're probably going to have to change things slightly because of because of COVID, but certainly, the big focus is doing it on a bigger scale, in different ways.
Yeah, and it's like you say. I mean, I love bringing people up. I've got a lot of friends in London and just various other places, and I love bringing them here and saying, "Where do you want to go?" I was like, "I've got a place to go," and it's seeing them come in and having a beer with them. They're like, "Bloody hell, Dave, where is this place?" I said, "Well, welcome to Birmingham. This is what it's all about," and it's exactly what you said. I think at the start that over the last 5-10 years, especially the last 5 years, like Birmingham generally has just grown as like a kind of a cosmopolitan city, I think, and it's it's a lot of stick, doesn't it? But it shouldn't really, because usually under normal circumstances, there's a lot going on, a lot of independence, like yourself, a lot to do though as well. I mean, it's not just drink, eat, shop, sleep. You can do what you want there.
I think that the really exciting part at the moment, is there's an even bigger growing independence scene across the sea. I mean, take Sturchley for example. I mean, it's. I mean, God, we live near there, and we're often down there. I mean, Vietnam, for example. It's Ming, who's one of our who runs that. He's been DJing for us for years. Some of the best Vietnamese food I've ever eaten. It's down there. You've got Canny, you've got all the breweries. It's spreading across the city, which I just love. I mean, and each place offers something completely different. And I think there's a real vibrant independent scene where everyone's collaborating. And that's what really excites me as well. Is just seeing like different people collaborate. We've made it a big thing over the years. I mean, for years we did our big stuff in King's Heath with Hare and Hounds. I mean, with Adam and Matt and all the guys there. It's played a big part in who we are, is collaborating with with various institutions in the city, and seeing that across the independent scene currently is I think is what's going to help this city get back to a degree of normality. I think there's some exciting conversations going on.
Yeah, I mean, do you see yourself, or no, that's not the right thing to say it. Do you think you're seen as like the pillars of kind of the street food scene? You're the ones that started it off, or was there a scene before you?
There wasn't really a scene in there's markets and stuff in Birmingham, but there wasn't anything really before. I know that we played a part, but it's we're in the hospitality industry and the events industry, but we're sort of like in between. Like with the other end. It's a little bit rough and ready, and but it's just really nice, like seeing people coming to the city to see what's going on. And you look at Digbeth now. I mean, like if you've been there 10 years ago, there was a Rainbow, and there was in the previous before that was a Medicine Bar. I was going Medicine Bar back in the day. But Digbeth is thriving in a different way, and people coming down. I think it'd be interesting to see what happens with all the residentials, whether it will still retain that soul. But it's certainly still there at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I remember Digbeth when it was the custard factory. You had the little pool in the middle bit. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
I fell into that a lot,
Yeah,
load
many
of times
times.
over the years.
And it's weird to see that kind of change, because that's changed so much again and again and again over the last 10 years itself, I think. And obviously they've got the cinema there and Mockingbird and the barbers and everything. But even that's, there's, like you said, you can have a nice set in Digbeth on its own. You don't need to go to the city centre. You've got everything there on your doorstep, I think, haven't you?
Well, I think you look at what's coming in as well. I mean, like there's 670 grams which is coming. So you've got some fine dining in Digbeth now, which is great. Through Craig Treadwell. I haven't had a chance to get there yet, but I've heard really fantastic things. It's a night out in itself. I think town. I think the problem that town had for years, and Broad Street's not for me, but there's a lot of people that love it, and there's a lot of good options in town, but it's never really that big appeal to me, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
I never felt really comfortable, and I think there's a lot of people like that. They like being in a dirty, sweaty warehouse having a techno rave or something like that. It's like that's more my sort of vibe, and I think if you can incorporate the food side, which we did, I think it's very very Berlin-esque. I mean, I spend a lot of time in Berlin when we can, and it's certainly some of the stuff there that I've tried to replicate. That's sort of what from my scene and what I've been to in terms of the food scene. I mean, that's got a really great food scene over there, and plays a big influence in sort of like designs and concepts of what's there too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad that you've been, Jack, 'cause I'm dying to go to Berlin. Everyone always tells me, Dave, you're half hipster, you half know what you're doing, you belong there. Like, so I've heard about it enough times, and not so much the food itself, it's more about the clubs I've heard about and just the general.
I mean, I don't really do the clubs anymore, but we just go out and we just go and eat. I mean, we just enjoy the bars, just the lifestyle. It's great. I mean, you've got so many different good restaurants and little eateries and cool little street food things going on there. It's as a foodie, it's an exciting city.
Yeah. And as your team, because I'm quite intrigued by your team, is it yourself and said you've got a business partner?
So there's myself and a business partner. We have a number of staff, and we work with a number of contractors as well. And they all live and breathe it. It's great. I mean, it's my brother works for us as well, and we spend a lot of time. It's a lot. Again, we all sit there, and we've all been working in the events industries and various guys for years, and we all love it. It's exciting to do some great things, and also go home early at some point, because the top of street is like to get into bed early nowadays. So
yeah, but you just
you ought to be in bed by before 12.
I think it's always like, as soon as you go after 12, the next stage is going to be a bit of a wreck, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
That's been one thing that's been quite nice the last year, that I haven't drank as much as I would usually, and I haven't had that many hangovers. So.
Well, that's 0% alcohol that I'm drinking, because I'm doing the whole.
No judgment here, Jack, at all. No judgment at all.
Oh no! I'm having a break now, so it's
and
swapping.
Yeah. I mean, it's I was saying to my wife, it's just been quite nice to wake up on a Sunday or Saturday fresh and just not have to stress about any kind of anxiety that you've got, or a drink or whatever. But it's great to kind of like just speak about it really, and see kind of. I love how every business plan and every kind of business I've spoke to so far is always started with kind of like a blagging business plan. So it's got an idea that comes to, should we do it? Gets a bit more further into it, and then you can actually start seeing it becoming a thing. And I think it's good for me, as well as I think many of us, to kind of hear that, like, nobody had the shit together when they first started. I spoke to Pisa in Moseley a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I knew Dan there, and he was saying, well, Dave, I'm 33, 34, I'm still blagging my way through life. It's just, that's the way things are. So keep going. And I was like, okay, cool. And so you must be quite chuffed to see it go. Because, I mean, over the years, it's just been mad to look, even obviously I know social media has just become such a bigger presence as well. But I looked on the Insta the other day, and I couldn't believe you've got like 85,000 followers. I knew you were big. I was like, bloody hell, that's massive. And then to think like where you started, it just must be, and I think it's probably word of mouth a lot of the time as well. Now, isn't it? Like, I know you've got your marketing, your social media, but I'd say a lot of football is I'm guessing a lot of people saying, "Oh, we need to go here."
Yeah, I mean, I stay off all that. I said earlier, I stay off all that now. Um, it's all looked after in house, and we just always again trying to come up with creative ideas. But everyone just loves a burger picture, don't they? Really, I mean, that's that's like, it's if you're definitely on a diet, it's definitely sometimes you don't want to look at our pictures. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was great to see. I mean, yeah. Well, thanks for chatting to me, and it's just interesting your story, really, how you started, and like you never would have known you'd been, using the videos. Kind of was it kind of video software you were in?
No, it was just cameraman mainly, and with editing, and was doing various things around the UK, and fell into filming street food in its original early days back in the last recession in 2008. So it was going along to these things like honestly, you go to like London and there'd be like little pop-ups and just street food would pop up in the corner, text this number sort of thing. There'd be little dark little warehouses, and I was like, oh, do you know what? Really good to bring something like this back to Birmingham. And honestly, it was me and my best mate, and he's and as I said before, he worked with the trade associations, and we set up DDC together. But it was all born out of love of the scene, and that's 12 years on, and still love it. Still finding out new things, trying new foods, and seeing people's joy for the first time of trying this, because the casual dining scene's really exploded, and it can only get better, really. I think there's going to be a lot, as I said, there's going to be a lot of people coming into the industry now who maybe have been denied an opportunity. COVID's going to do that, and hopefully, we'll be there to showcase them as best as possible.
Yeah, and like you say, I'm guessing you've got like a queue of people, traders trying to be involved.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? There's only so much space, but we always can make space for exciting new ideas and great food. I mean, that's what we pride ourselves on. We always try and have the best of the food. I mean, I try not to try it anymore because I'm trying to lose weight, but it's one of those, isn't it?
You should do some kind of Digbeth Dining Club like running challenge, shouldn't it? Like a 10k a month, you can get a free patty men burger or something like
that. I don't even think I could do that anymore.
That's what I'm trying to do at the minute. I'm just trying to do as much running as I can, eat as good as I can, so I can reward myself with some kind of burger. Because I think I'm a bit weak for patty men burgers. The best burgers I've had
fantastic.
I can't think of anything that compares, to be honest. I love going there.
I see that they're great. I mean, and the exciting thing is the city is born out. We're really pleased to see so many guys that have worked with us go on to open restaurants. I mean, you've got the latest one, which was Dick's Smokehouse. He's opened up a place in Bromsgrove, which I haven't heard, was booked in before, but lockdown stopped me going, so haven't been able to go to it yet. But it's been great to see some of our guys go off and open places. And Original Patty Men are probably the most successful ones. I mean, they've their story's fantastic. Their burgers are fantastic, and what they've gone on and done is brilliant.
I'll have to try and get them on and speak to them, because obviously it's that massive Drake story a couple of years ago. But I'm happy to.
I mean, their story's fantastic. I mean, they were fashion designers before. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, for Luke.
This is why I love, because I was a journalist before, about 5-6 years ago. I was a journalist. Now I work in PR, and I just love speaking to people, because you just never know what's gonna come out of that conversation. So,
but Tommy and Scott were fashion designers, and they were. I would, in the early days, I'd go around to the house and pick up the gear, and would help set them up the night before, because they had to rush from their jobs to come and get food, and you'd have queues of people waiting for Original Patty Men outside the little crappy gazebo that they had back in the day. And so it was all DIY stuff like that, really. But obviously they've gone on to go and create a really great product, and hopefully expanding, as you can see what they've done down at Sturshey as well.
Yeah, I mean, have you got any kind of crazy stories like that then, where you've had like a deadline to hit, or you've had kind of meetings that you've got to kind of get to, or whatever. Like, you know, that, like, kind of like business deciding meetings to kind of make it all happen, and you're like, oh, shit, I've got, you know, I'm here, there, or everywhere. I'm half hungover. Or...
Oh, pretty much the first 4 years. As I said before, we were making up as we're going on, and you know, it's far more professional now. You know, I'm in the office every day now, and you know, working on stuff. But back in those days, we just didn't have a clue. You know, we were really happy to sell about 10 burgers and then party on into the night. And
I love
but
that.
now it's.
I absolutely love that though, Jack. I think that's like you show, like, you know, you obviously did care for what you were doing, but at the same time you had a laugh and had fun with it as well. Which is
I mean, like, in the first year I couldn't pay my rent, even though I made no money at all, and you know, I put my heart and soul into it. Luckily, I was living with my friend, and her mum was our landlord, and she was just like, "Look, Jack, just, you know, build it and pay me back when you can," which was, you know, lucky, because I wouldn't be able to continue if that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And you know, it was that helped me, you know, to do it, because I was able to do this thing. I couldn't go. I was working all around the country. I couldn't travel around to work as much, but we made it work. Then, you know, it's needed to work again now. We can't finish it.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we'll slightly touch on Corona, and then I'll let you be. But how could have what? I'm guessing it's completely altered plans for the next kind of year at least, or year or so.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talked about before, and we've been operating click and collect through our Hockley sites down in the Joy Court, and you know, that is for the foreseeable. I mean, that's all we can do. But you know, we'll be doing some larger events throughout the year. You know, with places like Warwick again, and a few more little surprises to come. So all will be
revealed
to show in the near future.
Great stuff. Well, thanks very much for your time, and I'll let you go. Enjoy your anniversary, and have a good birthday next week.
Pleasure to speak to you, and we'll catch you soon. And if you want to come down for food, just let us know. Just drop us a text, and come down, and we'll sort you out.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be there once I've finished off my January health fitness kick, and my missus lets me to come down. So,
Take care. No worries. All right, but look after yourself.
See you later. Bye.